And happy Saturday, everybody. Welcome into the Miller's Edge Extra post-game show. Hope you're enjoying your Saturday. Hope you're enjoying a lot of great college football games. There are a lot of great games today on tap. And, of course, we enjoyed watching some good 12 o'clock games, my time, Eastern, Central, 11 o'clock Central, your time. But what about the Alabama Crimson Tide CBS game, 2:30, the Tide getting it done, 26-20 over the Texas A&M Aggies. And yes, if you follow me on Twitter or the Miller's Edge, I am collecting receipts on this night. No, I'm not waiting the next week. I'm collecting receipts this night that the Alabama Crimson Tide, Jalen Milroe and company went there and got a big-time win in the SEC West. As we talked about all week, this game I thought would separate Alabama, and I believe it's going to propel them to win the SEC West. I felt like this was the hardest game left on the schedule. They got a couple more road games, very winnable games, and then the other ones at home should win. Throw in the Tennessee Chattanooga Mocs. That's a win. So we're trajectory, as you said, Christian, I'll get that word out, in the right direction. So Alabama getting the win, 26-20 over A&M. Really, really nice game by a lot of people. We will highlight those people. We'll tell you our thoughts on the ball game, break it down. It was a tough struggle in the first half, but Alabama, again, it's been a second-half team that bounces back and comes out and play lights out. Why the slow start? Don't know. But all I can tell you, in the second half, the last 2 or 3 weeks, they have been excellent when it comes to playing football. Again, Christian Miller, Corey Miller, the Pastor Payne here with you. And Christian, I know you got a big smile on your face. So do I. Excited what the Alabama Crimson Tide got done. They battled, they fought, went on a road, very hostile environment to take on Texas A&M. We knew this would be a hard game. We knew that this defensive A&M was very good. They got after the passer, which they were very good at doing that. But we felt like Alabama's defense would be a big difference in this ball game, and they were. And as I said, I hate to say I said this, but I'm going to give myself some street cred here, that Jalen Milroe would have the best game of his career. And I thought they could expose the secondary. I thought the receivers of Alabama could get deep, and they did just that. And let me just say this, kudos to Tommy Rees for making adjustments at halftime. Things weren't working well in the first half, but he made adjustments, and I'm a believer in giving credit where credit is due. I'm critical when I need to be critical, but I'm also going to say positive things when somebody does something great. And I thought he did a great job of adjusting, changing the play calling, and getting things done. 26-20, the Tide wins. Christian, your thoughts, man, initial thoughts. And I know you're feeling somewhat like I feel, very excited and happy right now.
I mean, how can you not? I mean, a big road game for Alabama. And I hate being that I told you so guy, but I said about 24-20. I thought it'd be a close game, and that's what it ended up being. But a really good performance by Alabama nonetheless. Yeah, we'll talk about some of the negatives in the game, or some of the issues that we need to get cleaned up. But there were a lot of positives, and I'll just go off and just talk about what I saw from this game. And first and foremost, you got to start with Jalen Milroe, right? I mean, how could you not talk about the guy? You called it. You said that you thought this was going to be his biggest game yet this season, and that arguably was, in my opinion. Looking at his stats, he was 21 of 33, 321 yards passing, 3 touchdowns, 1 interception. Didn't even have to use his legs a whole bunch in this game. But just watching him, stay in the pocket, make those throws. Where are all the people now that said he can't throw the football? I'm genuinely curious. Besides some of the passes that, there's a couple crossing routes where he was a little high on them, right? But other than that, I mean, seriously, guys. Yeah, and that happens, right? And I was thinking about this when I was listening, and they're just talking about that one interception. I heard some people talking about his interception. Guys, nobody's perfect, right? I mean, the best Caleb Williams throws interceptions, right? Tom Brady threw everybody. Bryce Young threw interceptions.
Mac Jones threw 2 picks last week.
Mac Jones, right? Like it's Milroe throws a pick, right? And it's just like that's people like, okay, yeah, he threw this. Guys, let's look at his whole body, total body work, right? The guy was on the money. That connection to Jermaine Burton, especially in the first half, but in the second half as well. Isaiah Bond coming up big. I mean, that was huge. That hit our passing game is what gave us that spark. That's what I've been saying, right? We need to take more shots. He can throw the deep ball. Throw those 50-50 balls. I don't know why we hadn't been doing that. When you see that single high safety and you got a 50-50 ball on the outside, take it. Jermaine Burton, they got speed. I trust him going up and getting it. Same with Isaiah Bond. And so we finally saw that today. We honestly really had no choice because think we had negative rushing yards in the first half. I want to say we ended up finishing with our total for the game.
Our rushing was 23 yards.
Was it 23 total?
26 carries, 23 yards. Milrow, though, again, you got to factor in the sacks.
The sacks.
Eight minus 31 for him, 6 or 9 for Roydell, and then Jason McClellan has 12 for 45 with a 15-yard long. So, yeah, I mean, they couldn't run the football. And, Christian, here's the thing. When a team says you're not going to run the football, you're not going to be able to run it. They were bringing guys from everywhere, cat blitzes, double A gap blitzes. You know, they were slanting, they was moving, they was giving this offensive line a lot of problems, right? And kudos to DJ Durkin, the defensive coordinator. I mean, he devised a scheme that worked. And sometimes guys were just coming free. You couldn't block all of them. So kudos. They had a great game plan. You got to give them that. But they adjusted. They adjusted and they did what they had to do because some of those short passes actually become running plays. You know what I mean? So even though you're not handing the ball off, you're just taking it, throw a little swing route, a quick slant, or whatever it is. Those simulate running plays. And again, I give credit to Tommy Rees for doing that because he made the adjustments.
He did, and like you said, I mean, you got to adjust, and that's what this offense did. I mean, I'm sure they went into the game wanting to run the football, but that obviously wasn't the case. Look, we knew this. A&M was, arguably number one in the country for tackles for loss. Number one in sacks, which they got their fair share of sacks. I want to say they had 6. And the offensive line, they did okay. When Jalen Milrow needed to throw the football, they gave him time at times, but when they brought pressure, that was where the biggest issues came, right? Is when they were bringing 5-6 guys off the edge. Jalen Milrow got that blind side shot. That was nasty. Thank God he got up okay. But that's one area that we need to improve on is running the football, and that offensive line. They've got to continue to improve. I thought they made progress the last 2 weeks. Today, I don't know if I would necessarily say step back because they went against a really talented front in Texas A&M, but that's got to be cleaned up. But we did see some new guys in there. Darian Dalcourt was down, so Big 77 stepped in, a guy that I've been talking about. He looks like a big mauler to me. He's got himself an opportunity. So if he keeps playing well, he might end up holding that job for the rest of the season. The bottom line is, like you said, the offense did what they needed to do. They were explosive, throwing the football. Jalen Milrow was phenomenal. I was so happy for him to have that game. Like you said, he's going to have his biggest game. He did that. That one interception, we can live with that. But then let's flip over to the defensive side. Look, the defensive line was stout, and that's exactly what we needed. Those 2 big red zone stops early in the game were key. And that's why I said on the Crimson Tide Sports Network, the pregame show, I said the defense was one of the biggest keys in this football game because we needed them to help take some pressure off the offense. But coming up with those big stops, coming up with the turnovers, whether it was a big blocked field goal, which Dallas got that bad penalty, which when you watch it, Dallas probably could have avoided the guy. Didn't necessarily need to fool with them, but it was a terrible call. But that defense showed up today when they needed to, right? Yep. And they did a phenomenal job helping that offense out. And when you go on the road and play in a hostile environment, you already know the defense is going to have to do some work. They got to help the offense out. We knew the offense was going to have some issues. That was my other key. Have your poise and confidence and composure. We had, I believe, 14 or 15 penalties? We had 14 penalties for 99 yards. I want to say 9 of them were pre-snap penalties, right? I mean, we had probably 3 false starts in a row on that one drive. That's got to be cleaned up. But again, when in a game where it looked like we did everything to beat ourselves, we found a way to win, right? I love the resilience I see from this team. I love the fight I see in this team. Caleb Downs coming up with another big interception. Look, man, I mean, we've been saying this. When everybody was writing off Alabama after the Texas game, after the USF game, we kept saying it. They just have to improve, and they just need to find their identity, and they just need to keep chopping at the bit. This team will get better. They're a young football team. We all said that, right? We knew the more experience they get, the more games they play, the better they will be, and that's what we're starting to see. That's why when we said it all week on the show, we respect A&M. We knew it was going to be a hard-fought game. We knew it was a good opponent in a hostile environment. But people are treating Alabama, and this specific Alabama team, like they're inferior to all these other teams. I don't understand it. You know what I mean? Like, yes, they have their issues. They're having their growing pains, but they are a good football team, and they're continuing to hit their stride. You said it. This was arguably their toughest game left on the schedule. I don't want to jump ahead of things, but you got 3 straight home games now. You got Arkansas coming up. You'll have Tennessee, right? Both those games definitely look winnable, right? Then you got the bye week. Then you come back, face LSU. We saw LSU today. They've got a really good offense. They got into a shootout with Missouri. They were down early on in the game. Their defense isn't great. So this Alabama football team, who just beat Texas A&M, is now in the lead in the West. They control their own destiny. If they keep continuing to advance and improve, they're a dangerous team, and they're starting to take shape. And that's what we have been saying. Folks, you got to be patient. Alabama has always been one of those teams where it takes time to figure things out. The more experience they get, the better they get. But just reading off my quick keys real quick that I saw in the game, the big shots downfield that I've been waiting on seeing, those were huge. We finally started getting some explosive plays through the air. Defense stepping up in the red zone was critical. One thing that stood out to me, and I wrote this down, and this is how I knew they came in with that right mentality. Early on, it was in the first quarter. It was a third down, and we were on defense. We ran an ET game or an exit, right? It's when the defensive end, he stunts inside, he picks the guard, that 3 technique or that 2-eye, he wraps outside for contain, right? It's a game. Dallas did it perfect, got penetration, got upfield like he's supposed to. Justin Boygby was supposed to wrap for contain. He failed to do that. Max Johnson escaped, started scrambling, almost got the first down. They ended up stopping him short. But Dallas Turner let a Boygby hear it. You've got to have contain on that because it was a free sack. If a Boygby got the contain right there, Dallas flushed him right where he needed to be. And that passion and that fire from Dallas right there, getting in his ear, I said, oh, yeah, they're ready to play. And you just saw that when these guys were making plays, whether it was Burton, getting up. Look, I'm not a big guy when it comes to talking trash, but I like when those guys look confident like they did with Burton, feeling himself a little bit, when our defensive guys feeling themselves. I love it. That to me showed that we had the right mentality in this football game. Yeah. So I mean, then long story short, the receivers stepped up big. We knew these guys are playmakers. We knew that we've been seeing these receivers take steps. They just needed opportunities. They finally got one. So now, in my opinion, whether it's Tommy Reese or whoever, I think they're going to have a lot more confidence moving forward to take those shots now that they've seen that they're capable of doing that. So a really big game overall. The D-line was phenomenal. Tim Smith has been instrumental on that D-line. Tim Keenan as well. Justin Boygby, even Jaheim Otis getting in there. And I know he's been a little bit banged up, but man, from front to back, this defense has looked really good. We'll have to get an update on Malachi Moore, who went down. That's a big loss there. It looked like he tweaked his ankle, so hopefully it's not too bad. But man, the last thing I'll say from my observations, the penalties, we got to get that cleaned up. Way too many penalties. Can't keep shooting ourselves in the foot and beating ourselves. That really was it, right? I mean, we gave them pretty much everything in this game. We still found a way to win. So that was important. But again, a huge game from Jalen Milroe. The offense finally took some shots to the air. Defense was phenomenal. And now they get to go into this 3-week home stretch confident after beating a solid Texas A&M football team.
Yeah, so we're basically at the half-time point of the season. Alabama sitting at 5-1 in good shape, a loss at home to a Texas team that we all feel that is a pretty good team. And it's as a result of playing a good team early, a team that had experience. Alabama still trying to figure things out, trying to figure who the quarterback is. So, and they were in that game and could have won that game if a couple other things would have went their way. Now you're seeing a team that's starting to evolve. Right now you're seeing a team that's starting to mature. And everybody, as I said, might have been today on a pregame show or yesterday, they were ready to bury Alabama, right? So Desmond Howard, game day, go kick rocks, right? Because what bothers me is these analysts, not just him, even the SEC Network, a couple of guys, the receiver guy that played it for them, I'm drawing a blank what his name is. You know who you are. Kick rocks. I mean, because what they do is they have such a knee-jerk reaction, right? You're supposed to be analysts or experts, right, that know the game. If you really watch the game and understand the game, you can see. I mean, like I've been saying, Alabama was close. They have talent. They have dudes. We knew that. They just got to figure out a way and who fits here and who needs to go there. They got dudes. They've been recruiting great for a long time. But here's Texas A&M. Everybody's sucking up lollipops to Jimbo Fisher. And, A&M and this defense, rightfully so, the defense is good. They're nice. I give them that. I like how they play defense. I like the aggression. I like how they try to impose their will. But listen to me. This Alabama team is nice. This defense grew up after the Texas game. This defense got some studs and some dudes. And you saw some even dudes that we haven't seen a lot of tonight that got a chance to play, right? And so I'm excited what I'm seeing from this team. I'm excited where this team can go and how good they can become. But I was surprised that everybody in America that was saying all this A&M stuff, a team that's not even ranked, by the way. It's not Alabama's going to play a top 10 team. They're not even ranked. But because what they did to Arkansas and what they did to Auburn, oh, man, Alabama. And I know the offensive line has had trouble. We get that part of it. But Miro can play. I felt like he needed a little bit of that playbook open up. I felt like Tommy Rees needed to take that number 2 pencil out, sharpen that thing up, and dial up some more plays, which he did, especially the second half. And there's still much to be desired offensively. You've seen that this team had dudes. I've been saying it for weeks. They have wide receivers. Everybody wants to compare, we don't have a Jalen Waddle. We don't have a Devontae Smith. We don't have a Henry Ruggs. We don't have a Jerry Jeudy. We don't have a Jamison Williams. We don't have a John Mechie. We don't got that. You may have that. You just haven't seen it yet. Now you're starting to see they have some dudes. They got plenty of weapons. It's about figuring out a way offensively to get these guys the ball. We saw a lot of that in the second half. And then I'm collecting these receipts from Jalen Miro.
Absolutely.
Let me do this real quick.
Hold on. Wait. Before you do that, let's get to the super chat. We got a big $20 super chat from 60. Thank you so much for the support. He says, why is our OL why are they struggling? I'm gonna go with that. I don't want that to come out of my mouth. Explain, please. Roll Tide, roll. Well, appreciate that. Thank you so much for that super chat. Look, I'll say this, 60. It's hard going on the road, and that's why I said going into this game, there's going to be issues with the cadence. There's going to be at least a couple of those false starts, right? I mean, that's almost a given. You just want to minimize them the best you can. And I will say you got to also throw in there was a couple new guys in the lineup, right? I mean, you had Pritchett playing left tackle. He was in there, big 77. I can't remember his last name right now. He was filling in. And so things like that are going to happen, but you got to minimize them and you can't let it be routine, right? Like that's the thing. Like I don't want to make excuses for them. I get that playing in a hostile environment, you have to change your cadence. You go off like the guard tapping the center's hip, right? It's not as easy as playing at home, but you got to get that cleaned up, man. You really do, because you're already going against a very talented front. So physically it's going to be a challenge. The last thing you want to do is beat yourselves. But again, 60, appreciate that. The support means everything to us in our channel. It helps us out, give you guys more content. So appreciate the support. You got anything to add to that?
No. I wouldn't. I mean, I will say thank you for the donation, but I don't like dumb. That's a bad choice of words there. I think
that's why they made a lot.
They made a lot of mistakes. And again, if you've never been in that environment, 108,000 people, and you can't hear, sometimes you hear people are talking, and I can see A&M defensive linemen, faking the stunts because they move so much. Guys get a little bit anxious. And again, we're all screaming. We don't like to see these things happen, but they happen. And this offensive line is still a work in progress, and they have gotten better. Yeah, you could say, well, they gave up 8 sacks. I get all that. But they did some good things too, especially in the second half, right? And they're going to get better. I know Eric Wolford really well. He's the offensive line coach at South Carolina. He's going to stay on their butt. Proctor going to continue to get better. I mean, they got some dudes. This might be the best defensive front I would say it's probably the best defensive front they're going to see going forward. They're not going to see anybody that runs these exotic stunts and blitz package,
and
like
have
DJ
the talent.
Beckham, and have that talent. Remember, Jimbo Fisher and the Texas A&M spent a lot of money on them dudes, right? Coach Saban told you that they bought a lot of 5-star D linemen. They got most of the top D linemen the last couple of years. I mean, so they spent a lot of good money on those dudes, and there's some good football players there. But in the end, Alabama did what they had to do, and they gave Jalen Miro some time when they needed to give him time. And so now, those that owe me, there's a lot of you, and I can't even get into, but it's going to listen to me on Monday. But of you that said that this man could not throw the football, any of you, you know who you are, that said, they're going to make them throw the football and we're done. We're going to lose. Jalen Miro can't read defenses. He can't throw. He can only throw the deep ball. I encourage you. I implore of you to go watch the tape and then come back and talk to me on Monday on the Miller's Edge on the Tide 100.9, okay? Because I saw this young man who went back home, who's from Katy, Texas, by the way, not far from College Station. Right? A lot of pressure. There's a lot of pressure when you go back, mom and them and Auntie Nancy and cousin Lulu and your homeboys and everybody. He went back with that pressure on his back and delivered to the point of 21 of 33, 3 touchdowns and 1 interception. And I know because a lot of you are so negative, you focus on that one thing. And, it wasn't the best throw, wasn't the best decision, but the defense got him out. Caleb Downs bailed him out, gave him the ball back. Everybody makes bad decisions. Everybody makes mistakes. And I did this a decade in the league, okay? Everybody, don't care how much you train, how much you study, because those dudes over there are good too. And sometimes they make good plays. Yep. It happens. So let's focus on what they did good. Jalen Milroe, excellent. He gets an A+ for me. Burton, almost 2 bills catching the rock. He was a frisbee catching dog. And he played like a dog. I love it. He was in their face. He was challenging them, right? Caleb Downs continues to impress me. Caleb Downs is a dog. How about the freshman? How about Bond? All them dudes. I mean, he had 1, 2, 3, here we go, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 different receivers caught a ball on tonight. And let's not forget the fact that Nye Black dropped one. I think Burton dropped the first down on a dart on a perfect throw down low where it's supposed to be. Jalen Milroe, he dropped. There were several drops in this game, too, that those receivers and or tight ends should have caught. So all I'm going to tell you is this. I don't want to hear freaking no more about Jalen Milroe can't throw the ball. I don't want to hear nothing else because everything you said, he's done. He's been on the road, great defense. He delivered 300+ yards and 3 touchdowns. And he didn't even use his other great weapon, which is his legs. There weren't many design quarterback runs in the game. So for those that have said the negative things about Milroe, you need to repent, turn to Jesus, and say, forgive me, Lord, for I had no clue what the heck I was talking about, okay? So I'm collecting them receipts tonight. I'm not hearing it no more. So we can cancel any other conversation about Jalen Milroe and why Ty Simpson should be this and this guy should be that. I'm going to tell you, take this cup and sit your tail down somewhere. You can't tell me nothing. I ain't going to hear no more. Now, you want to talk about the offensive line? That's a good conversation. And lastly, I want to applaud the defensive line of Alabama.
Yeah,
they got 6 sacks tonight, and they harassed Max Johnson the entire night. Christian, I said this last week. They had to put pressure on him, and that's what they did. I said he'll give you a couple. That's what he did. And it was because of the defensive line, Coach Roach, Jamie Mosley, all those guys that worked with them. Shout out. The only negative I got from the defensive line, Dallas. Come on, bro. If I am Chris Braswell and you cost me that who blocked the kick, recovered the kick, and scored it. If I'm Chris Braswell, man, you fighting in the locker room. You might have cost me some NIL money, right? Like, why in the heck? You are tall, and this is what I'm saying. Sometimes players do. This was a stupid thing. Not that he's stupid, but that was a stupid.
It was
play.
Undisciplined.
You are taught not to block behind the ball. There's no need. He is 10 yards in front of that guy. If anything, just go and shield him. Just get your body in the way. That was a bad play because that would have put us up 14, game over. So other than that, listen, again, Malachi, I'm praying that he gets healthy. And the punter, who also think he might have had a hamstring or something, came out and tried to warm up in the second half but couldn't go. But give Riker a trophy too, Christian, because he kicked and punted, made his field goals, did a nice job punting the football. And so guys stepped in when they had to step in because of injury. Big time win. I give it a plus win because it's going on that hospital road. A good team, a good defense, great defense, hostile environment. Second half, here's your score: 16-3. 16-3. Alabama has just been dominant in the second half. So whatever, I don't know. I wish you was there because you could have been in the locker room and maybe heard the locker room halftime speech. We got to figure out what Coach Saban said because whatever he said, it has worked in the second half. So we just got to get Coach, Miss Terry, whomever, to get that kind of speech in the first half because if these boys come out firing like they're doing in the second half, I'm telling you, they will be 11-1, and they're going to beat Georgia and Atlanta because Kentucky is who I thought they was getting knocked over the head right now anyway. But that's all I got to say about them.
I'll say this. I mean, part of it could be contributed what's being said, but I think it's really adjustments, right? I mean, I was in that locker room 5 years, and that's one thing. When we go into that locker room, that's part of the reason why I'm so quick when I interview Coach Saban as a sideline reporter, because I know how important it is to get in there to make those halftime adjustments. So I think that's what's being done in the locker room. They're going in there, they're making these adjustments because you got to remember, when we face these teams, we're preparing the best we can from what we've seen on tape, but half the time they end up doing things differently because they know how well we're prepared. If you go back and listen to Jimbo in his press conference, that's all he talked about is how Alabama, they prepare for everything. We're basically ready and equipped to defend and attack everything in these games. So that's probably what it is these adjustments. But let's get to these super chats. Before I do that, man, I'm just so glad
Georgia up 24-7 on Kentucky. So.
Okay, yeah. Well, we figured it'd be something like that. But look,
fake news.
I'll say this about Jalen Milroe. That's why I kept trying to tell people. Like, I've been seeing this guy, whether it's practice, scrimmages, whatever. He's been making all these throws. That's why I said it just is a consistency thing. He just has to do it on a consistent basis. And the more exposure he gets in these games, the more game time reps he gets, the more experience he gets, the more comfortable he's going to get, and the more confident he's going to get. And that's what we're seeing, folks. That's why I said just be patient with this guy. He can make these throws. They wouldn't have recruited this guy to play quarterback if he couldn't do it. I'm just going to tell you that. With that being said, I'm so glad he had that coming out party. Him and Jermaine Burton. I'm happy for those receivers as well because they definitely reduced some balls. Here we go. Let's get these super chats that we missed. Titan Guy, thank you so much for the $1.99 super chat. He says, was that pass play at the end on Milroe or Tommy Rees? I think if I had to guess what was going on was, number one, I saw Coach Saban getting on Jalen, so probably was more so on Jalen. But they converted to get that first down. Jace McClellan kind of caught that bobbling catch. I think they were trying to rush because they didn't want it to be reviewed, just in case for whatever reason his knee was down or it wasn't a catch. So Jalen was just trying to hurry up and get a play off. The problem is, if he would have just took the snap and just kneed the ball, that's all they had to do. The A&M was going to be out of timeouts, and the clock would have just ran out over the next few plays. So that was, in my opinion, his mindset, just trying to get a play off quick. I don't know if they already had that call.
Yeah, he should just
took a knee or something, or ran.
Nobody's on the outside and just slid down. It's like plays
100%. But at the same time, though, I'm sure it's second nature to catch and throw a tunnel real quick too. So he probably just in his head thought, look, obviously a young player mistake, something he'll learn from. Luckily, it didn't bite us. But at the end of the day, like I said, you learn and you grow from those things. So Titan, that's what I would guess. He was trying to hurry up and get a play off. And I don't know if that just happened to be in there. I don't see why Tommy Rees would have a tunnel called. Maybe it was an RPO, and he just felt that was open and just tried to take it real quick. Because, again, I mean, these guys do catch and toss tunnel throws all the time. I mean, it's second nature. It just, unfortunately, was not a great throw. But, again, Titan, thank you so much for the $1.99 super chat. We've got a $25 super chat from Rusty Dent's Garage. He says, I'm more concerned with Bama's discipline more than Milroe's performance. Penalties are a mental discipline issue. Absolutely, they are. But you got to attribute some of them, Rusty. And again, thank you so much for the $25 super chat. We appreciate your support so much. You're right. They are a mental discipline issue, but you attribute some of those to being on the road. Like I said earlier, when you're on the road and it's that loud, the offense has to change their cadence, right? You can't do the typical cadence that you use at home because it's so loud, right? It's basically like a silent count. The guard will tap the center's hip in the exchange. I mean, there's different ways to go about it. And so that's difficult, right? Because in these other O linemen, they're having to kind of periff the ball, waiting for the tap on the hip. Like, so it's a little bit different, right? And then, there's just a lot of pressure. It's really loud. You're trying to, zero in on who you have, and things are changing because when you see these corners coming up, like they're about to bring a cat blitz or these safeties dropping down, it's changing and shifting assignments. So you're thinking about that, and there's no real vocal count. So with all that being considered, you're going to probably have a couple false starts here and there when you're on the road in a hostile environment. But you're exactly right. Those you have to minimize. You have to get that clean up because that's beating yourself. That's undisciplined football. And that's why I said on the radio earlier today, you have to limit those to the best of your ability because those can then crush you. Those are drive killers, and they can really give the other team momentum and take a lot of momentum from you. But Other than that, though, I mean, those are really the majority of those penalties in the Dallas turnover. And that was
Nine penalties
huge.
came from pre-snap, and that was
Yeah, 9
jumping
were
the tight.
pre-snap.
It wasn't just the offensive lineman. I think Dupree had 2 or 3 himself. And again, I know Coach Saban
Right.
said how they just had just basically white noise. I mean, just a bunch of noise going at practice. Every team does it when they're going into hostile environments. We've been doing it for years and years. And let me just say, that crap don't work. It don't work.
I mean, it helps.
It
It
don't
helps.
work. It
How are you
don't
gonna
work
tell me I've been in there with
because
it?
I've been in there too, and I can tell you
Y'all did not have
nothing
those. Y'all
works.
did not
Oh
have
yes,
that
we
type.
did. We
No,
had we
no,
had big old daggone
no,
concert speakers in our
no.
indoor facility. And because here's why it don't work. I'm not saying you can't try it, and I'm not saying not to do it, but nothing can simulate real crowd noise. You got band music, you got people yelling, you got people cussing, and you got live situations happening in front of you. You got live cat blitzes. You got that dude in here trying to knock your grill off. You got all the stuff that you got to make checks and try to hear the quarterback. And there's so many other factors that go into this. So I never thought it worked. I mean, you can put that noise on all you want to. It's just like you just got to focus. You just got to focus, man. Just like whether it was quiet or there's 100,000 in there screaming. That I got to focus on my job. I got to focus on knowing what, because here's the thing, if you know what you're supposed to do, and I don't understand this, Christian. I don't understand why offensive linemen jump. You know the snap count. As a defensive player, I don't know the snap count. You know the snap count. You should never jump off a false start. I mean, it's like because you're not focused. So I don't know what Coach Saban's got to do about that, but it is undisciplined.
Well, a
Those
couple
things
of
kill
them,
you because they put you behind the chains. Yeah,
they do. A couple of them, A&M did a good job of really stemming really quick. Just that movement sometimes, when offensive lineman is seeing that movement, then they're anticipating because you're going against a defense who has 14 sacks the last 2 weeks, 15 tackles for loss just in last week alone, right? So when you're going against a defensive front like that, these guys are anticipating trying to get off the ball because the last thing they want to do is give up a sack. But you're right. You just got to be patient. You know the cadence, right? Don't get antsy. But yeah, I mean, like I said, I'm not making excuses for them, but those are factors in that. But we got to get it cleaned up. You can't have.
they got to fix that.
Yeah,
They're going. I mean, Auburn's
that.
going to be like that. I don't know about Kentucky,
100%.
but Auburn will be like that. Other than that, I really don't have to worry about it too much because all those great games are at home.
100%. But I mean, you're right, Rusty. We appreciate that support, and you're right. I mean, that's got to get cleaned up. I mean, the last thing you need is undisciplined penalties, pre-snap penalties. Again, they're drive killers. But overall, watching this football game, I know a lot of people might have been negative. Coming out of this game, there's a lot of things that look. I get there's some things that weren't pretty, right? Rushing for only, and again, you got to take into consideration the sacks. But only 23 yards rushing, less than a yard per rush, right? I mean, that's not a great look when you look at that on the stat. But again, you have to you got to watch the film, you got to watch the tape. Like to me, I choose to focus on the positives and what you can build off of. I've seen Alabama have the ability to run the football already. I know we can run the football. We didn't have a great day running the football today, but I know we have that potential. I'm not freaking out about it. Am I happy with the way we did it today? No. But do I know we can get better? Absolutely. We've shown that already.
Well, let me just say
the fact that we hold on real quick. I love the fact that we hit all those plays through the air. That's what I've been waiting on. I've been waiting for us to take more shots. I've been waiting for us to try to be more aggressive on offense. I still think we can get a little more creative, right? But the fact that we were able to, and it wasn't even just taking deep shots. I mean, a lot of those were those same intermediate throws that everybody said Jalen can't throw. He was on the money all day, right? Back shoulder a couple of times. I mean, he was throwing not even just his throws, but his timing. Did you notice that? He had great timing on those little, hitches and those.
He's better. Throws. He's better in the pocket for sure.
Yeah, he was much better in the pocket today. So I'm one of the people that I choose to focus on on the positives in the areas of improvement that I've been looking for, because to me, I saw a lot of areas that had once been a weakness in the past few weeks that ended up being positives today. Now, again, I know there are some of our strengths that ended up being weakness, but that's the game of football, folks. No game is the same. There's going to be ups, there's going to be downs. And at the end of the day,
ebbs and flows.
You get ebbs and flows. You get a big win on the road against a really solid A&M
Be happy.
team. You got to be happy, and you got to move on. Now, the last thing you want to do is you don't want to get big-headed now, right? We're not going to sit there and just, go on cruise control.
No, I understand.
I'm not
too many
saying that though.
negatives to focus on. They got too many negatives to
100%.
focus on, like the penalties, like some of the plays that they missed. So many things that they got. They can't be cocky because honestly, this team, Alabama, should beat that team by 2-3 touchdowns. I
They
think
should
that's
have.
if they play their best football. So you
I
can't
agree.
come back and think like we could just show up and roll the helmet on the field and we're going to go win. Let me just say this about the running game also, right? Sometimes defenses, I know for sure we game plan even in the National Football League to stop the run. I mean, we had every gap covered. Sometimes you have to use the pass to try to open up the running game, which they did a little bit in the second half, right? And then sometimes you got to use the passing game to substitute for the run game. That's why I talked about swing routes, quick hitches, throwing the ball quickly on the outside. Things we saw that they did try that, and then the freshman missed a block and it went nowhere. So somebody didn't do
That
their
was
job
Benson.
again.
That wasn't the freshman. That was Benson.
Okay. Benson didn't do his job, and that play was set up nicely. The coach can help the run game, right? Our running game, Alabama's running game, is so basic and generic, right? They line up with the back on opposite side of the quarterback, and they basically run it right up the gut. They were running to the teeth of the defense. You're not going to get any yards. I talked about it, and then even in the fourth quarter, they need to attack the outside. Well, the next play, they ran Chase McClellan on the outside. He got 5 or 6 yards, right? So, again, not personal to any coach. I'm just breaking it down. But the coach should have dialed different running plays up. This is my only negative to it. The coach, whoever calls the coach, we know it's Tommy Reese, the offensive play, excuse me. They got to add something to their running game, because if I'm the defensive coordinator and I'm game planning Alabama's offense, right? I'm doing just what DJ Durkin did. I'm bringing pressure. I'm stunning. I'm moving my defensive lineman. I'm getting in those gaps. I'm changing the line of scrimmage, because that's what defenses should do. As a defensive line, we're taught to change the line of scrimmage, meaning play on the other side of the offense. So what do? They just don't beat the guy one-on-one. They're moving. They're stepping. They're slanting, stepping, dipping, ripping, getting up the field. And these linebackers are coming off to fill the other gap, replacing where that guy just left. This is football one-on-one. Right? Football one-on-one. So what you do as an offensive coordinator, you have to adjust. You have to say, they're not going to allow us to run here, because that's all they were doing. So we got to change something, right? We got to try to attack the flanks. We got to put them big tight ends. I would like to just see them get back in the old school. Put Oos, put Dupree, run tosses, toss sweeps, run counters. They try to pull a couple of times, but they're too big. A lot of their linemen are so big, they're not fleet of foot. So they are not going to be a big-time counter team. I've just seen that, because they can't move because they're too big. So when you can't run it, you have to throw it. And what did they do? They threw it. They attacked down the field. It worked. So for somebody saying going to complain, understand the game, understand the chess game that goes into this, right? They couldn't run the football with effectiveness. They couldn't do it because the Aggies were not going to allow them to do it. But what did they do? They threw the football, and they came out the second half. What did they do? Boom, I'll take 7 yards here. Boom, I'll take this little quick out route. Boom, I'll take this slant route. We'll work the ball down the field, because you got linebackers coming. Guess what? That open up slants. All them little short passes, it opened that up, because the linebackers are blitzing so much, they weren't buzzing to get under the hook. They weren't buzzing to get out into the flat. So therefore, the receivers had one-on-one on the outside. That's great play calling. That's why I said kudos to Tommy Reese. So let's don't look at, again, the stat sheet, because we're so daggum. We got to look at the stats. The stats tell part of the story, never the entire story. So This is why they could not run the football. But your quarterback throws for 303 touchdowns, right? And the second half, they moved the ball down the field and scored touchdowns. Why? Because of the passing game. So who cares? I don't need to run it. If I can throw it, why am I running? Okay, so don't complain about it. Just understand how the game works. There's going to be a game when they will be able to run it. They might run for 250, and they'll throw it 12 times. Like last week. He threw it 12 times, effective 10 or 12. But they ran the ball with great consistency. So it's game by game. Don't look at it because the stats say, 23 yards, and these folks on TV don't get on there and tell you how awful they can't run the ball. They chose not to, because they weren't going to allow them to run the football. And by the way, another kick rock person, Chris Dorian, who I was talking about on SEC Network. You, buddy, can kick rocks. Danny Cannell of Florida State, my former teammate, got on CBS .com network. You can always kick rocks because they pay these dudes all this money to talk football, and because they played, because everybody played ball don't know ball. Let's just be honest. Everybody, because you play football, don't mean you know and understand the game. And that's very evident because they have a lot of these people up here that have no clue what they're talking about. And that's what pisses me off, excuse my language, because I'm not just trying to be an Alabama homer, because I'm not. I hope you think and know that I'm truthful about what I see. Some people can't handle the truth. But, I just call it like I said. I've been around this game a long time, but all of them and all whoever else is listening on this stream or watch the replay, if you've been kicking Jalen Milroe like that, kick rocks too. I want to hear it no more. I'm going to collect them receipts.
You got to. And look, if you guys watched our Miller's Edge Extra on Thursday, we pulled up a couple plays. We couldn't let the plays run because of copyright issues, but we did good. We didn't get copyrighted. We just showed kind of the freeze frame. But we showed this, right? We said A&M, they're going to be aggressive. They're going to bring pressure. They're going to bring guys in the box. This is why we think those quick passes, whether it's the mesh routes or shallow crossers, quick slants, could be effective. And what happened today? That's exactly what we saw. Quick passes, whether the quick stick routes, hitches, slants, whatever, it was very effective. And that's exactly what we're saying here is, the running game wasn't there. They probably knew that there was a good chance it wouldn't be there. And so that's why they went with this game plan. And I got to tip my hat to Tommy Rees. Again, I don't think it was necessarily perfect by any means, which nobody's perfect. But, I was impressed with them finally dialing it up and being so effective in the passing game. Because, again, that was one area that I wanted to see improvement. And that's exactly what we saw today against a good Texas A&M team. Plus, we said their weakness, so to speak, in Texas A&M I'm speaking about, is their secondary. And so, look, this played out kind of how we thought it would. And, hats off to them, really good football team, but ultimately Alabama was able to get the job like we expected. I appreciate everybody in here. Again, if you don't mind dropping a like, if you're not subscribed, go ahead and subscribe to stay up to date. We do the Miller's Edge Extra on Thursdays. We do the post-game shows, like breaking stuff down. So we'll definitely try to get to some tape too. And I can see if we got some of these highlights on here already. Maybe we could try to find some plays, just the freeze frame, because I don't want to get copyrighted. But while I look for that tape, anything else you got from this game? Any takeaways? Anything you want to do a player of the game real quick? I mean, definitely got to give it to Milroe on offense, right? You agree?
Yes, that's who I predicted. Yeah, I'll pat myself on the back. If my shoulders wasn't so, we got to have Cole as a co-player of the game offensively, because Burton 196 is huge. Even though he had the fumble, he had a penalty, unsportsmanlike conduct. He had a drop. He did have some negatives. Milroe had an interception, but both of them dudes was huge. So for me, I will give it to both of those guys. I thought they showed up and showed out. He has become the favorite target. He led the team in receiving yards coming into this game anyway. But he definitely is the favorite when it comes to Jalen Milroe playing quarterback.
Let me read you this stat. Hold on, wait. Let me read you this before you pick that.
Right. Okay.
Well, I was just going to say, because this might surprise you. Tim Keenan, and we spoke stepping up huge for the defense line.
Yeah.
Led the team in tackles with 8 total tackles, and he had a sack in tackle for loss.
Yeah, I saw that.
Yeah.
But I got to give it to the entire D line. I can't give it to one person. I mean, that defensive front, Coach Roach, Jamie Mosley, the boys that work with that D line, whoever else that is, I thought was lights out. I thought the tackles, the interior guys did very well at stopping the run. I mean, Texas A&M couldn't run the football either. By the way, look at everything. They had 60 yards rushing. So the defensive front was excellent. I thought the edge guys, I mean, come on, man. Braswell, that was in on numerous plays. He had a sack. He had some TFLs, I believe. He had the touchdown. But man, Dallas Turner going to have a conversation. But the block kick, recovered, touchdown, and Ibongbe had a really nice game. Tim Smith, the other guy you just mentioned. So these are guys that they had two deep coming in that I think all of them played excellent tonight. So they are my defensive MVPs, the defensive line of Alabama.
No, I agree. I'm with you. Jalen Milroe on offense, Cole with Jermaine Burton, right? I think that's obvious. Then I'll split that with you. I agree. The whole defensive line, man, was phenomenal. From inside out, outside in. They caged that pocket. They got after it. They were penetrating. They're aggressive. Everybody was eating, right? A Boygby, Tim Keenan, Dallas, Chris. I love it, right? And we always say everything starts up front. And so they were setting the tone, and I loved seeing that. But then Caleb Downs, another big game. He was second on the team in tackles and also had another interception. And it's not just an interception. That was huge, right? Talk about a momentum swing, right? Jalen Milroe throws an interception, right? And they're marching down the field. Looks like they're about to score, go up even more. Caleb Downs comes up with a huge interception at a critical moment, right? So the freshman that everybody is talking about, and we're going to continue to talk about him because this guy, I heard Pat McAfee talking about. I mean, they call him a gold jacket guy already. Now I know it's way early to be saying stuff like that, but the more I'm around him, you hear about him. All this dude does is eat, sleeps, and breathes football. Right? He's a machine. That's how Minkah Fitzpatrick was when he came in. When I played with Minkah, was the same way. Minkah didn't go out to parties. Minkah didn't do anything else but sit there and watch tape, work out, practice, you name it. So I'm excited for the future of Caleb Downs. But I got the tape pulled up. We'll look at some plays here in a second. But first, we've got a $50 super chat from Adam. Again, this might as well be the Miller's Edge presented by Adam. So here's Adam with another $50 super chat. Adam, thank you so much for the support. He says, hey, guys, great show. Question, what is the best way for receivers to attack zone coverage? Do they sometimes change their routes based on what the defense is doing? Great win today. First and foremost, absolutely, that's a great win. And thank you so much, Adam. But that's a great question. How do they attack zone coverage? Typically, depending on the play, they're going to have their set routes. Now, there always are things that they can adjust depending on what it is. If the corner's in press, if he's off, right, that could make them shift or adjust what they're doing depending on the concept. So that's one thing. But really, when you're in zone, I'll give you an example. That one where Jalen Milroe just missed Jermaine Burton, right? Sometimes if the play's not there and they're in zone, these receivers can kind of break things off or just find that open window just enough to get open. And so that's what really good receivers will do. And that's what Jermaine did a really good job there. He sensed that Milroe was kind of, scrambling out, trying to find something. He found the opening, and unfortunately, Milroe just missed him. But in my opinion, that's typically how you do it. Now, you got to stick to the play call in the route concept first and foremost. But depending on what you're getting, whether it's press, whether they're off, single high, two high shell, it just depends. Sometimes you can adjust. But that's a really good question, Adam. And thank you again so much for the support. You got anything for that?
Yeah, just to add, I mean, when you're in zone, great receivers understand zone, right? And they understand sometimes where they need to sit down. Like they know where they're going. If I'm running a hook route or a dig route, which is about a 15-yard in route or out route, 12 yards back to 10, things like that. And they recognize zone where those linebackers are dropping. Sometimes they'll set those things up by when you got two inside backers, let's just say, Adam, they're dropping out to the hook, which is 8 to 10 yards in the hook area, and then they're running a crossing route, hoping that linebackers get a little nose. They want to jump those routes. But anytime you see that, they normally run something behind the linebackers, right? Those dig routes, right? So say those things are covered. Good receivers and good quarterbacks, when they have great chemistry, will understand I need to sit down right here, right? So I need to stop my route going across and sit right here in the middle, and that quarterback, boom, hits him right there. Because if he keeps going across, he runs it right into the coverage. So, great receivers have great chemistry with the quarterback in zone routes because it may not always go the way it's supposed to go or it's drawn up to go. They have to understand sometimes they may have to sit down. Or say, you see this before where a receiver X or Z runs in route. Well, the linebacker's buzzing to hook curl or whatever. And instead of for him coming further inside where the linebacker is, the quarterback will throw him outside, so away from the linebacker so he can catch the football. So all those principles are in place. But normally you see that with really seasoned quarterbacks and seasoned receivers who understand. We had a little bit of that even in a zone dog, which is it looks like a blitz, but it's a zone dog, meaning they might bring an extra rusher, meaning 5, right? But they might drop an end out or different things like that. That's a zone dog with some pressure, right? And I thought Burton should have sat down and broke outside toward the sideline, that one pick Jalen Milroe threw against Texas. He didn't. he threw it inside where the safety was, and it got picked. So there's a lot of different things, that receivers can do. But that's just chemistry, working with your quarterback and understanding zone coverage and those types of things help you become better at that. And there's receivers who are great. Tyler, not Tyler, but guys like Hunter Renfro, Adam Thielman with the Panthers. These guys are not going to beat people in one-on-one coverage a lot, but they're great when it comes to working the zones because they understand zone concepts.
No doubt. Adam, thank you again so much for your support.
I got him.
Adam, comment. I got an email from Adam, and I just want to make sure it's you and it's the proper address and stuff. So if that was you that emailed me, Adam, go ahead and drop a comment just so I can confirm that was you, and I'll get that stuff sent out ASAP. But again, thank you so much for your support. We got another super chat from Kelly. Kelly with the $4.99 super chat. Kelly, thank you so much for your support. Kelly says, last week, folks were whining about no passing. This week, it's no running. Ugly W is better than L's any day. Roll Tide, roll, and thank you, Millers. I agree with you, Kelly. People are always going to find something to complain about, whether it's the media or the fans or even the players. Sometimes, look, that's part of it. But you're right. An ugly W, a good-looking a win is a win. It doesn't matter how you get it as long as you get the win. And again, I mean, it's if you look at the stats, it doesn't look good. And you watch the tape, the running game wasn't great by any means. But knowing the game plan that they had and their agenda, it makes sense that this was going to be more of a passing game. Now, obviously, you don't want negative rushing yards in the first half or less than a yard per carry. You definitely don't want that. But we knew that there was going to be more of a passing game at the end of the day. And again, a win is all that matters. But Kelly, thank you so much for your support. We really appreciate that. And look, Alabama came up with a big win on the road when a lot of people counted them out. I mean, there was people on our own station on Tide 100.9. I was looking at the
oh yeah, and even for those, let me get them too because I can't. We gotta keep receipts. Gary Harris, I got you in the kick rocks category too.
Is it the Sanderses, the Wimp and Bear? I think one or both
kick
of them.
Rocks, both.
Noah chose. I mean, everybody was. I mean, like, come on, guys. I mean, like, seriously, like, come on now. I can't wrap my head around why people are just writing everybody on this Alabama team off. I know, we've been, finally kind of hitting our stride, and then the initial part of the season wasn't pretty. But again, if you know ball and you can watch tape and you can really understand and break things down, you will see that this team has all the tools they need. They have all the potential. The issues that we were pointing out early in the season, again, they were all correctable. We've said that. If you go back and listen to our radio show, listen to all this stuff, we've been telling you guys this. Everything is correctable. Coach Saban said it. It was a matter of getting the right guys in the right place and getting guys the proper experience they need to play at a winning level and ultimately going out there and executing and doing their job. That's all it was. It was never a matter of, Alabama's falling off, the dynasty's over, they don't have. No. It just they needed to get out there and execute. They needed the right pieces in place, and now they're finally starting to take shape. The defense, I said this going into the season. You can go back and look. I said the defense has a chance to be one of the best defense that we've seen in quite some time, right? I wasn't trying to give rat poison. I was just saying they have a lot of talent. They have a lot of depth, right? Let them work. And I said they will be the reason why we go during these growing pains, we'll stay afloat and they'll keep everything together. And that's what we've seen. And finally, the offense is finally taking shape, finding their identity. And the whole team now is taking shape, special teams included. Now, hopefully we get Burnett back. Will Riker did a great job filling in for him. But I'm telling you, man, people don't realize how important it is to have those kickers and punters. Just think back a couple of years, folks, when we couldn't rely on our kicking game. I mean, I think we get spoiled sometimes. You got to realize there are some times we couldn't, everybody be hoping and praying and fingers crossed if we line up for a 30-yard field goal, right? Now it's almost like it's guaranteed from wherever. Those. Yeah, you know what I mean? So you got to take that into consideration. That's huge for this team. So we've got great special teams, a defense that's beginning to put themselves on that elite level if they continue playing the way they're playing, in an offense that's starting to take shape and really starting to get more and more explosive each week. I'm excited for this team, and that's why I said, man, I truly believe as long as they keep building and improving week in and week out, I think they can win the West, which right now they're in the number one seed for the West. And I think they ultimately can – I think they can beat Georgia, right? Watching Georgia on tape, I know they're a good football team. I think we have what it takes. It's going to be easy.
Georgia rolling now. Now, everybody was questioning Georgia. And now
we did too.
And Kentucky had a win over Florida a lot. And I'm like, okay, have you been watching Florida? Now, Florida had went over Tennessee, right? And they're an okay team, right? And then here we go, Kentucky destroys Florida. The guy rushed over 200 yards. Now Kentucky is a juggernaut. Well, I told you. 34-7 at halftime. I mean, give me a break. That's why I'm saying these people just jump around. These analysts say stuff, and people buy it. Even other local media folk, they feel like these people have the gospel because they own a four-letter network. These people because they wear tight suits and high waters and have gel in their hair, and they think they know this game called football, and they don't know freaking nothing. And people listen to them all the time. They're just doing what a lot of fans do. They just go by just the general stuff that they see. You have to watch these games in its entirety. You have to watch and understand what's being called and what's being, executed or not executed on the football field to understand really what's happening, because it is a chess game. It's very intricate, how these guys call stuff and why they call different things. And so it just angers me because I love this game so much. It's given me so much in my life, and to hear people disrespect it by, saying certain things angers me. I will tell you that. So pray for me. I pray for my anger, but that drives me absolutely nuts. But real quick, Georgia up 34-7 over Kentucky halftime. Minnesota's losing Michigan 24-3. Arkansas, Ole Miss in the second quarter 17-7. Notre Dame, Louisville tied at 7 in the second, and that's pretty much the other games of note. So other ones you probably don't care about. Georgia Tech, Miami tied in the second. So a lot of great games today, man. A lot. LSU found a way. I was hoping that they lost to Missouri, but Jaden Daniels is special. I mean, that dude's special. He got hurt his ribs and came back, and he destroyed Missouri at the end of the game. But LSU getting a 10-point victory on the road in Columbia, Missouri.
They did do that. So again, definitely some good games. I'm just glad Alabama walked away with the victory. But real quick, we'll probably be on here just a few more minutes, but just looking at some of these plays real quick. I mean, early in the game, right? I mean, you couldn't throw this any better right here from Milroe. Play action. He's got slot to the boundary right here. I mean, and great
back shoulder throw is beautiful.
Back shoulder, and the way Burton was able to go up and high point the football. I mean, again, not just his physical playmaking today, but just the mentality that those guys are playing. They were playing with that swagger, that confidence. That's what I was talking about going into this game. Like, you're Alabama. Like, forget all that noise about, Texas A&M and, playing in Kyle Field. Like, yeah, it's tough, but, like, play with that swagger, that confidence. That's what I meant. Like, that's how we looked at this as an opportunity to go in there and take over their home stadium. So, man, just right there, I love that play early on, setting the tone for Jalen Milroe. I mean, you can see a little bit of it here right now. I don't want to do too much and get copyrighted, but, man, I mean, just great ball.
Stop freezing back where he caught it in the high point. Freeze it real quick. Where right here.
Yeah.
You see this back shoulder. You hear it all the time. It's away from the defender, right? And he puts it where only his guy can get the football. The defender has his back turned. He doesn't even see the ball, but the receiver does. So it's such a nice throw. The position of it is extremely perfect, right? And you teach receivers and even defenders when intercepting a ball to high point the ball. This is what we call high pointing the ball. Circle that right there, Christian. The ball's up above. You see that? Point. Yeah. High pointing the ball, both hands open, grabbing it, squeezing it, and pulling in, and making sure that he gets his feet down, that he's in bounds. Excellent catch, but probably a more better throw by Jalen Milroe here on his back shoulder.
Oh, yeah. I mean, it was beautiful execution on both parts, man. You know what's crazy? And I'll just say this real quick. I got to get off my chest. Like, speaking about people just talking about stuff, there was one throw, a very similar throw Jalen Milroe made, and Burton, unfortunately, didn't come up with it. There's a guy on Twitter. He always just tweet, man. I don't even follow the guy, but he comes up. And he had the nerve to say, like, basically it was like not the best throw or not a great throw. And it literally was a very similar throw, right? Whether the DB made a decent play or what. But I'm like, what are you talking about, dude? But anyway, not even going to go there.
No,
but this is
another play.
Here we go. So another 2x2 set slot, right? They send.
They motion out Jason McClellan, and they do that to make sure that identifies zone or man. So you can see right here, he's letting the slot go.
That means it's zone, right? You can tell it's zone. He motions them out. Nobody's going out there with them. They're in the zone coverage right here.
But that back froze that safety, because you can see here that safety froze just a hair enough for Isaiah Bond to get by him. Is that
And
Bonds?
that definitely, yeah, it was Bond. It definitely was probably busting
Okay.
their coverage. I will say that, but you got to capitalize on those. Great throw by Milroe,
Yeah.
dropping it on him, touchdown.
The arm strength. That was the longest pass of his career, right? That would be
Yeah, it was at
52
52.
yards.
Yeah,
2 yards.
and it was this was that stop and go by Bond too. It was a great route.
Watch the safety here. Look where his
Boom.
eyes are. His eyes are still in the backfield.
Yeah,
That's why you hear Coach Saban talk about circling right there, Christian. The safety right here on the hash. Look at his eyes. Here comes the receivers flying down the hash. Right, look at his eyes. The backside here, he's looking at the quarter mirror in the back. And he lets the guy run right past him. And the safety over here, about a 30 on the hash, he's got to defend this side because you got another receiver screaming, so he can't help. Beautiful recognition right there. Great throw. Touchdown.
yeah. So definitely an error on their part, but great play, great execution there.
Well, just the safety. Just the safety not doing his job.
Huh?
That was just a safety that's not just being nosy.
Yes, that's what I'm saying. I mean, lack
yeah.
of execution, or I mean, could have been a bust.
Yeah.
I mean, could have been responsible on that, or potentially the corner could have. The way he was
No,
playing,
that safety's got to be deep. I mean, because you got.
But I'm saying the way he's playing,
Yeah.
he's not even turning. So I'm saying I wouldn't. I mean, it could have. But it could have been coming off here, and he could have been responsible for that deep third.
That's still that would be horrible because say he
I'm
sinks
just look.
back.
I'm just saying that there's
And
something
he
there's
takes
an
his-
issue
he
on
takes-
in their coverage, 100%.
he
Because I'm saying
takes
this
that
guy's
dig-
flat-footed. If you got a guy
Right, but-
screaming, I know now it was a stop and go. Now unless the stutter kind of got him, my place. I mean, it wasn't like stop and go, but he
No, he's not even trying to turn. He's still backpedaling. Look, backpedaling. He's
stepping
still
on the
backpedaling.
feet of him. Yeah.
So yeah. But anyway, whatever. Look, his eyes is bad.
Something in there. This is a good return right here.
No, this is bad. You got to make tackles on special too. We got to just do better.
We got to do a better job tackling for sure. Nia Smith is a good player. You got to give him that though. Now this right here,
No, I know
this was terrible. I mean, the ref is not going to call that. I mean, the guy's literally all up on Malachi, and then he just decides to put his finger in his face. So you're not going to sit there and do that to me. They're going to call a flag like that.
No, that's horrible. Yeah, that should have been on the 19.
They should have called it
that's
on
also
19 from the
Max Johnson's brother. Brad Johnson has 2 kids on this team. We call this the OSHIT screen, basically. That's what they call this play. They don't say it. But it's normally they fall down. I don't know if you can do that in college, but
like
19
on the ground?
yeah, he like dives down,
Oh,
but
no,
because
I've
of the
never
blocking
seen
things
that.
on. So yeah, they call it the OS screen. But you know that, So he falls down, all the action goes away, and he leaks out the backside.
I've never seen somebody fall down. I just seen them really block hard.
If you go back and watch the NFL tape, I can just hit OS screen on Google and show it to you.
Oh yeah, I was about to say no. Normally they just block real hard down as if they're in the protection, and then they squeeze.
But
out.
Malachi was extremely irritated and mad at one of his players. Like, who's supposed to? This is not man coverage, is it? You can see here Deontay lost on point. We can't run it, but you see you got the honor to here. It's an outside. I guess you call it like an outside RPO type of thing. But somebody's pointing right.
Somebody was probably I don't know.
Where's the safety at?
I'd have to see the end zone.
Yeah, we can't watch. But anyway, that was
unfortunately, we can't really watch it right now. Just another. Let's see. Oh, this throw right here, man. Let's talk about this. Let's start it from the top. So we got trips bunch to the field down here. Low snap. I guess we're used to that at this point.
It wasn't horrible.
Oh no, never mind. Jalen dropped it. Sorry, that's part of it when you're sitting there. You can't when you're freeze framing stuff. You're not being able to watch it like regular. No, it wasn't bad. Jalen dropped snap. So I'm sorry, Seth. I apologize. That was on Jalen. But this man, hold on. God, I just want to let this play. This throw right here. I mean, that's a dime.
Mm-hmm.
It's just a dime. But we got to go back. Pretty solid protection for the most part. It was a good protection. I mean, you get a guy leaking out at the end. But I mean, again, solid protection. 1, 2, 3, 4, 6 minute protection. Not really what? It was decent again if you let it play. I mean,
look at 57 who's in for Proctor right now.
Right. So I mean, but again, from the get-go, it wasn't bad. They're running the game.
They ran a twist, and he got to take the man that's freeze it right there, freeze it.
Yeah.
Okay, point to the left tackle.
I see him.
See, him and the guard got right here, but he
They
gives up
got it
on
blocked up. They just got to stay on their man. I mean,
Yeah,
it's
they gotta
blocked up.
stay
He just got to
now
stick with that. That's what I'm saying. That's good protection. That's a great pocket right now.
now it is, but watch his hips.
I get it, but he didn't finish the play. He just didn't finish, right? He just sits
then it
down.
wasn't good enough.
Bruh, you get what I'm saying. It's solid for the most part. It's pretty decent protection. He has time right now. He could have hit 9 Black on that cross.
No, he got 9 Blacks open, but he waiting.
Yeah.
You see him flat footed right now.
100%. But that's not the point. The point I'm trying to make is he sits in the pocket, gets pressure late. But this throw right here, man, I mean, beautiful. That's a dime, man. Jalen Milroe was in his bag today. That's why I'm like, I just wish I could have had a camera on everybody who said he can't make these throws, right? I mean, because that's not one of these just, deep 50-50 balls or this, it's all he can throw. Like this, he put that in the breadbasket right here. Like this, let me see. Look at this. Beautiful.
Beautiful throw.
That's huge, man. That's huge. Let's get one more. I mean, here we go again. That's a good, that looks like a good pocket to me. And again, I'm not watching it from the beginning because I don't want to let.
And this is a good pocket.
That's a good pocket to me. Now they also
are. But again, there's no pressure.
3,
there's
4,
no
5,
pressure.
6, 7.
There's no pressure.
That's also 8-man protection. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 2 tight ends and a running back in there. 3 + 5. That's 8-man protection. Right? 9 guys. So it's only a 2-man route. So it's a 2-man route, which is fine because look what happens, right? Letting it loose. Boom. Great play, man. That's why I said going into this game, if you got to go 6-man, 7-man, hell, even 8-man, do what you got to do to protect these guys.
But if you're going to do that, then it's got to be taking a shot down the field because you got, sometimes one-on-one coverage on the outside.
100%. I agree. But I'm just glad they're finally letting it go, man. Like you said, there you go, your 2 shots.
Mm-hmm.
That's great execution right there. I'm wondering, I don't know if he just got stuck.
The safety got one middle deep safety circling right there.
Yep, single high coverage right here.
He's got both sides here. So you know you got one-on-one coverage.
One-on-ones on the outside. Yeah.
So he puts the ball again. You don't want to throw this ball inside. Why? Well, answer the question, folks. Why? Why don't you want to put the ball, let's say here, inside the 40? Now you give that safety a chance to pick it off. But where he lands it, outside shoulder, back shoulder, only his receiver can make the catch, or it's an incomplete. You understand what I'm saying? So that's why throwing it inside, now that safety can, if he got good speed, he can get there. But Jalen puts it in a nice spot.
Oh, he hit him with a stutter go. You seen that?
Look at him. Squat.
That's what it was. Yeah.
Squat. Mm-hmm.
Made the corner. See, Burton was in his bag again. Hey, look, I'm just saying, if they keep growing that connection, whether it's Burton, Bond, man, I'm telling you. Let me get to these super chats real quick because while I was over on the other screen, I think we missed a few. We missed some, a few of them. Let's get these real quick. Chris with the the $49.99 super chat. He says, "Thanks for keeping us Tide fans positive. If it wasn't for the self-imposed negatives, Bama would have blown them out. Roll Tide, rolled." Chris, thank you so much for that huge super chat. Your support means everything to us. Thank you so much. But you're exactly right, man. Look, you got to be positive because again, I mean, there's no point in dwelling on the negatives. You definitely want to learn from them. You don't want to waste any negatives. You want to use them as lessons, but there's no point in dwelling on them. You want to use them as learning opportunities, but you want to also reinforce the positives because there were a lot of positives in this game, and I agree 100%. We could have beat this team by 2 or 3 scores easily, right? Just too many self-imposed, penalties or self-inflicted wounds, however you want to call it. But a win is a win. But definitely we're going to have to keep improving in that category of playing more disciplined football because we've been a little up and down with that, right? There's some games we played this year where we were disciplined, a few penalties, others, started climbing back up there. I don't want to see that resurface. So let's nip it in the bud this game. We got the win. But let's clean it up moving forward. But again, Chris, thank you so much for the support. Always got to be positive because we're always
great comment, Chris. Thank you, buddy.
Absolutely. We're always rolling with the Tide here, man. But we're going to be realistic, but we're not going to be one of these people that are like, oh man, no way. I don't know that. No, man. We watch tape, man. We watch ball.
They do this next week. Oh my God.
Yeah,
we're not going to come in here and beat us. And, man, we can't run the football. And, Again, every game is different.
Watch ball. Every game is different.
But thank you, Chris, 100%. For the $49.99 super chat, my friend.
And
Geneva
then is it Geneva?
House. That's
Yeah,
Geneva
I think
or
so.
Genevieve. Which one is it?
Genevieve
Geneva
or
or Genevieve?
Well, G's house. We'll go with that. Roll Tide. You guys are a true dynamic duo. Thanks for the non-biased, knowledgeable comments. Keep up the great work. Well, thank you so much. We just appreciate doing this again. If you're just tuning
Thank
in,
you so much.
I'm Christian Miller, former Alabama linebacker, and I play with the Panthers. This is my dad, Corey Miller, 9-year NFL veteran. And then we just love, talking football. We host a radio show called The Miller's Edge on Tide 100.9, Monday through Friday, 11 to 12 Central Time. So tune into that. But now we're also on YouTube on this platform. We get to do cool stuff like this, hang out with you guys, and break things down. That we just like doing this. There's no shot at anybody else. But there's just a lot of people that get on these platforms that talk about stuff. And I hate to do this. I'm not knocking anybody, but they don't necessarily know what they're talking about. And that's fine. Like I support anybody that is engaged in football. They love football. They're passionate. They want to talk about it. But between me and my dad, I mean, we've got decades of experience. I mean, I started playing when I was 4. We played on every single level. He played a decade in the NFL itself, right? And so we just want to be able to be knowledgeable and offer our analysis and explain to you guys and basically teach you guys what's going on between the lines, right? Because not a lot of the time you're getting that. A lot of it is biased, or guys are just talking about things they're hearing from other people from other networks. We're just watching the games. We sat there and watched the game together today, and now we're on here talking about it. And now we're trying to pull up some clips the best that we can without getting copyrighted. But thank you so much for the $20 super chat.
Thank you. I hope we're saying your name right. If we are,
I want to say that's Genevieve. I want to say that's Genevieve.
You got to like in school. You got to kind of like pronounce that Genevieve, right?
Yeah,
Genevieve.
I think that's Genevieve. So I think you got that right. But let me go back over here. So again, nice little stutter and go by Jermaine Burton. Great pocket. Again, it should be. It's 8-man protection. It's only a 2-man route. You got to take your shots here. I think that's a great play call. Again, I mean, I wish I could really watch everything through, but another running back exit pre-snap. So this time, all right, we just told you what happened last time. You had a running back exit. Nobody ran with them. So I'm going to quiz you guys. What kind of coverage was that? Nobody went with them. You said zone? Yeah, that was zone. Now we got a guy running with this guy. What kind of coverage is that now?
Man.
You said man coverage. Good job, guys. Clap it up. Applaud yourselves. You got man coverage here, right? Everybody's in man. Boom. He's on his man. He's on his man. Man.
Well, we call it man free. Why is it called man free? Go back.
Come on, man.
Right here. Look, circle it. Safety.
Got the free safety over the top.
All right. There we go. Man free. Here we go.
Now we're getting advanced. Here we go.
5 men in the rush.
Yep. So 1,
this
2,
is
3,
slant
4.
route. This is right here. This is when you got to understand what's happening, right? So you motion that back out to get him, clear him, knowing this man, he gets out of the way, out of the middle of the field. I'm assuming it's a safety or a back. I can't see the number. But that open, look at this right here. Look at this window. Circle that for me, Christian, right here. Over here, the slant area. Over here between the 10 and the 20, that line right here. Come down right there.
I can't see your screen, brother.
I know. But yeah, right there. You got it. Look at that. Look at that green grass. So there's a slant coming. It's easy. I can throw this and complete it. So Jalen Miro recognized, bam. Now he makes the catch, and then he makes the guy miss. It's a touchdown. So, but what did that is the motion of the back. Get the motion because they know it's man coverage. They know that guy got to go with the back. It opens up the slant route, and this is why this was successful.
Absolutely. I mean, and again, a great call. And so, I'll go back to the front. So it's a 4-man rush. I know you see 5 guys, but this guy's a spy. This is what we used to do when I was here. This guy's going to get this center, his attention. I used to line up on the guard and get his attention. He's getting the center's attention because you see what 5's doing. 5's trying to squeeze in that gap. So he's trying to get his attention. That way, this guy's got the one-on-one with that guard to take that inside. And then that way, you got a spy here, right? Because then he goes and cleans anything up. So D tackle's going to take this inside. They're trying to flush him out. That way the spy can clean everything up. So it looks like 5 guys, pretty much is technically 5, but he's just a spy. Like my dad said, that slant window is open because, again, what do we say is man coverage? It's man coverage. And not only that, the corner's playing about 10 yards off. That slant window is wide open. Then a great, after the catch play by Burton, bouncing off a couple defenders, going in for the touchdown, right? That's a beautiful picture.
Good job,
right
catch and run. That's called rack. Run after catch. Good job by Burton. He's go back though to the offensive line.
Wait, well, I was about to say, hold up now, real quick. They got to be careful with this celebration. It's tough. The whole mask up, but then they're spraying the look.
We ain't worried about that, man. Come on.
No, I'm just saying if any of these officials were hip on what they're doing, it might not be good.
They be doing that every game.
No, I know, but I'm saying if the officials knew what they're doing, it might not be great. But it is.
Go back to the offensive line. I want to show you something real quick.
All right.
Go back and forward. I mean, yeah. I want to show you the tackles. Okay, see, they're in their normal set. Now run it just a tad. Right here. Left tackle. If any rusher got a tackle that does this, he is going to get beat like a drum. See, look at his footwork. He's opening up the gate for sacks. They don't have good footwork. The kick back here. He should be back here. Stand square so he can slide his feet and punch. Slide, punch. Slide, punch. He can't do it now because the edge got him beat. We call it working a half a man. Look at, he's half the man, meaning his shoulder is in the halfway part of the lineman. So he can dip that shoulder because now if he gets that one foot by him, which you can see the left foot, he's bent. They do drills with this all the time to bend and flatten out to the quarterback. And you're going to see both these guys get beat around the edge because of bad technique. Even J.C. Latham here at the right tackle. Look at his footwork. Look how close his feet are together. Circle that, Christian. Look at his feet. As big, and if you saw J.C. Latham, he looked like Tarzan getting off the bus. But you're going to play like Jane if you got bad footwork and bad technique. Okay, finish it. Watch just a little bit more. Watch where they end up, especially the left tackle. Beat. See, look, he's underneath. He's lower. Look at it. He's open up. Now he's going to flatten out. If he don't throw this ball quick, he probably gets sacked again. Now, JC does better by correcting. Now you can see he's a little bit more at a base and tries to push the guy by. So he does a better job. But the left tackle, bad technique, and this is why we send a lot of sacks.
He's got to move his feet better. He's just got to move his feet better.
Forward just a little bit more. Now just kind of
brother, you're trying to get us copyrighted, man.
Nah, just a little bit more.
Bro, I mean, what else do you want to see? I mean, he throws the ball right there, man.
Yeah. So he's flattened out is at the quarterback. That's all I'm saying. Just to get people to understand why guys just not getting beat. They're getting beat because of bad fundamentals. They're getting beat because of technique issues.
But again, I mean, pre-snap, you knew this was going to be a great play. I know, I'm just saying, pre-snap, you knew this was going to be a great play. You see there in man when the running back exits, he's playing 10 yards off.
See, I mean, if I was over there coaching, I should have stuck with the coaching.
No.
I would drill their tail to death and if you can't move your feet, you can't play for me. And if you go soften your set and punching, same thing here. Look at see Dallas. What did the same? Look at this guy. He's leaning. Look at him. He's leaning. That's got him. Use his hands. Bam. Now he got to dip that shoulder a little bit more. A little bit more. See, Dallas need to work that pass rush. He need to bend a little bit more, and he gets. But bad technique by Aggie's left tackle. Same thing.
Yeah. Really nice job.
He's too high. He's too high. He needs to be flattening down right now.
Really nice job going to power on the inside right there by Boybe. Collapse in the pocket, coming up with a huge play.
Boybe gets a sack, right? On the split.
Yeah, well, I guess it was intentional grounding, but yeah, they gave him safety for sack. So big time play, man. I know somebody said they're like, you're only doing highlights. Well, that's all we got right now, man. I don't have
flex on him. Flex on him, big fella. Flex on him. I love that right there.
Celebrating safety. I mean, that's what I'm saying, man. We really played with some swagger and some confidence today. I loved it.
Yeah, don't get us in trouble. Let's do one more. That's it.
No. I mean, I think you're good if you go through. I thought we could have picked this off right here, man. Yeah, I think we're good. But kick the field goal. That was pretty much it. We already talked about the
good job by Kool-Aid. I want to call Kool-Aid out. They just won't play, but I'm glad you didn't show it because I probably said something mean.
It is what it is, man. But look, man, like I said, we wanted to hop on here, give our post-game analysis, share our thoughts on what we thought of the 26-20 victory. I called it 24-20 coming in this game. I was close. Safety kind of changed that a little bit. But again, nonetheless, a great victory by Alabama going into Texas A&M College Station, getting the win when everybody said that Jalen Milroe couldn't throw the ball. They were just going to force Jalen Milroe to beat him through the air, which he did that just fine. Right, we did everything in our power pretty much to lose this game, to beat ourselves, and we still found a way But I love the resilience from the guys. And look, another week of positives that you can build off of. Definitely some negatives that you can learn from. But I think you go into Arkansas confident, playing KJ Jefferson, a good Arkansas football team, but you got 3 straight home games. And, Arkansas, a good football team, but you're at home, feel real good about that. LSU, really good offense. Defense is struggling. But again, I mean, I like the path that this football team is on, right? They're finally starting to take shape. And I think each week they're building confidence, right? They're building more and more confidence, right? They've got 2 away games in the SEC now under their belt, right? They've done some really good things, throwing the football now in this football game. And so I think things are going to start opening up. Jalen Milroe is starting to look more and more confident in the pocket. And he didn't even use his legs today. I mean, let's just put that out there, right? He didn't even hardly use his legs today. So let's take that into consideration. But any other thoughts before we get up out of here?
My final thoughts are just a great win by Alabama. I'm extremely, as Coach Saban said, proud of how they responded. Didn't start the game as good as they wanted to start, but the resiliency that I see in this football team tells me a lot about their character, the toughness, the will to win, even in a hostile environment. I thought it was excellent. It's just it's a beautiful, beautiful thing to see when everybody else was doubting them about going on the road and facing A&M and Jimbo Fisher, and then you hear all the naysayers, all the stuff on the outside because these guys hear it. But the resiliency, once again, losing at halftime to bounce back 17-10, outscoring A&M 16-3. Defense came out lights out, shut them down, and they got the victory. They control their own destiny now, folks. And that's what I said. Circle this game. I've been saying circle this game because it was the biggest game. I felt like on their schedule, if they can get this win, they got the tiebreaker against Ole Miss. They got the tiebreaker against Texas A&M because now they would have to lose twice. So they got LSU at home, Arkansas at home, Auburn on the road, Kentucky on the road. So Tennessee at home. Winnable games. I pray that they stay healthy, continue to work, look at the negative things. They could be so much better. Even in this win, as we celebrated today, this team could be so much better. And I expect that to happen. They got to get Malachi, the punter, whoever else got some little injuries, get them back on healthy and on the field. But I am super stoked at this win. I know everybody was a little anxious, a little nervous about it. Anytime you go on the road in this conference, it's hard, right? It's the SEC. It's tough to go on the road and win. Kentucky finding it out right now. So good win. Kudos to the defensive line. Kudos to Jalen Milroe, who let me just say this for real. I am so blessed.
All right, buddy.
And for a young man that I know, who I see some of his posts about the Lord and things like that, that makes me proud. He works hard. Everybody is against him. He's been hearing everybody wanting Ty Simpson, Tyler Buckner, you name it. Whoever else is on the quarterback room, in the quarterback room, everybody's been calling for it. And so that's a bad feeling. That's a bad feeling. That's why I'm kind of over the top in support of him. And I am so awesomely thankful that he balled out like he did, and he's becoming the leader that he is. And I think his best days are in front of him. And it's not just about him. It's about the team, folks. You say you're an Alabama fan, you should be excited that he's playing and doing what he's doing. Now, you may not like him. You may not like his style, but it's working.
We're getting past that. We're getting past. Look, he just proved everybody. I mean,
but people still like
that's old news.
I'm happy for the man. I don't care about it. I'm happy for this young man. You understand? If somebody's always putting you down, I'm the kind of dude that when he goes out there and balls, I'm happy for him. I'm happy for him because I know he's good, right? And I stand up for him or whomever it is. It don't have to be him. I'm just saying, these people are 18 to 22-year-olds. They're young men. They're not grown folks. They're 18 to 22-year-olds, and sometimes fans and people put too much pressure on these young men, and they don't understand what they go through. School, working out, nutrition, and everything else, girlfriend. But to see them come out and do what he did and the team do what they did today, all I'm just saying, job well done. Looking forward to next week.
100%. I'm just saying, if anybody has anything, I mean, he proved
all
the doubt wrong, man. Drop it. Tia said, Christian, stop giving game plans against us because A&M blitzed us like crazy. You said they'd do that. Again, you're right. That's why I said I need to stop saying these things. But again, just I watch tape. I know ball. I played football, specifically here. You can kind of, I know it's going to happen. That's why when people say these, oh, well, they're going to drop 8 and the Milrows is going to beat us. I'm like, why would they? That makes no sense. I know what they're going to do. They're going to bring pressure and force the issue. Look, I'm just speaking ball. I'm just speaking what I know, man.
That's not nothing like secret. I mean, that's what.
Yeah, no. She's playing around, but I'm just saying, like, it's just what it is, man. It is what it is. I'm just y'all want the truth. Y'all want us to break it down. That's part of it. I'm about to get on here too. The Bama Standard, they're in here. They said Corey couldn't agree more. You're right. Even after he showed out today, there's still negativity from fans. But like I said, man, you just got to look. If people have anything to say, I don't know what else he can do. I said this earlier when I was watching the game. I don't know what else this guy can do to prove these people that he's right for the job or that he can play quarterback. I mean, his performance today, I mean, he was throwing dots, darts, dimes, whatever you want to call it. He looked poised, confident. I saw some emotion out of him when they kept getting the false starts. I mean, he's a phenomenal leader, right? I mean, like this guy, man. I mean, you're right. It's so hard not to root for the guy, but that's why I said at this point, I don't even listen to any negativity regarding that. I mean, he's clearly the guy for the job. He proved it today. I mean, every time they say he can't do something, he goes out there and he does it, right? I mean, it is what it is. But again, we just appreciate everybody in here. Thank you for all your support again. It helps us give you guys more and more content. We're listening to your feedback. We're already trying to, break down the tape or show the freeze frames and just talk about what's going on. So I hope you guys enjoy that. I know some people also want us to get some of my teammates on for some interviews. We're going to start doing that as well. So thank you all again for all the support, all the super chats, which again, all that goes towards getting more content for you guys, whether that's streaming stuff, getting people on here, whatever we need to do, equipment. So we appreciate all the continued support. So 6-0.
Yeah, I need a new mic. I need a new mic. How's sound?
Sounds pretty good.
You'll never find.
It's all right. Yeah, no, I'm about to have to mute you if you're going to
say love like yours and mine.
See, I'm about to. All right, we got him muted, folks. Don't worry, I got you. Rusty Dent's Garage. Thank you so much, Adam. As always, he might as well be our title sponsor. Kelly, always showing support. Chris with the big $49.99 super chat. Thank you so much. Genevieve and Dr. Crystal. Thank you so much. Did I get Dr. Crystal on there? I might have. Did I? Oh, let me unmute. Let me unmute you. There you go. Are you good now? Did I not get her on there?
Dr. Crystal.
No. Did I miss her to put her on here? Dr.
Yes,
Crystal,
you missed her.
Super chat. Another week, another W. Love the show as always. Haters gonna hate no matter what Bama does. Thank you so much, Dr. Crystal, for the $10 super chat. And I think Dr. Crystal called into our show live on the Miller's Edge. I'm pretty sure that's the same Dr. Crystal. So thank you so much for tuning in then as well. And obviously always here on our YouTube platform. But thank you so much.
She agrees with the Pastor Payne. Haters gonna hate no matter what it is.
But people have Bama fatigue. They're gonna hate. But a dub is a dub, right? And a great victory by the Crimson Tide. Again, if you haven't, please drop a like. Your support helps our channel out. And if you're not subscribed yet, please subscribe. Again, remember we got the Miller's Edge Extra on Thursdays. If you guys want us to go live another day, whether it's Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, let us know down below. Leave a comment. Brother, I haven't got anything from here. I mean, I got you. I might have given you a
$10.99, bro.
This dude here. We haven't got anything. That's YouTube takes his time. Look, I got you. Don't worry. I'm going to take great care of you. But again, appreciate all your support, guys. Make sure you like and subscribe. But again, leave a comment if there's any feedback you want to offer, anything you want us to do. And if there's another day you want us to go live, we'll definitely consider doing that because we enjoy hopping on here with you. But we'll be out of here in a second, folks. I know my dad wants to eat. I'm probably going to get some food. My dog is telling me he's got to go out. So again, thank you guys hopping on to the Miller's Edge post-game show. I'm Christian Miller, and this is my dad, Corey Miller. Oh, other way. There we go. Corey Miller here with another post-game show. Thank you guys so much for all the support.
We're going to Monday, Miller's Edge 10. Was it 11 to 12 here? Yeah, 11 to 12.
Yeah.
Tide 100.
On Tide 100.9.
So you can download the app. If you're in a different area, download that app, the Tide 100.9 app. You can hear us wherever you are. And, of course, we'll always send notifications for because we'll do podcasts and things like that whenever there's breaking news or if there's something popping off or it's a topic that we kind of feel like we want to get and say. Because we only have an hour on the radio every week, weekday. So we love this platform, love hollering at you. And if anything you want us to discuss or, if there's something good out there, juicy, hit us up too, because we can get on here for 10 minutes sometime. If I'm driving down the road in the old Suburban, I don't mind posting up, driving, and talking some football, especially Alabama football and the Gamecocks or NFL, wherever you want to go, we can talk it. Bible, we can talk it. Wherever you want to go, that's what we do. We got the edge over here. You hear me?
That's right. Well, he said it. This has been another post-game show from the Miller's Edge. I'm Christian Miller, Corey Miller. We're out
Why you
here.
smiling? You remind me of Michael Strahan. You can't talk without smiling. He trying to say a point and he's smiling. I want you to get mad sometimes. Act like you're mad and peed off. He always smiling.
Why would I be mad when we had a great show, a lot of great support? We got a big W against Texas A&M.
I know, but it's like my boy Strahan. I talk.
Oh, screw it,
Here's
man.
Strahan. You ask Strahan. So Strahan, what you think about the game? This way goes.
What?
Well, you know,
first of all, I don't talk like
we played pretty good, and well, you know, it was a good effort.
First of all, I don't talk like that. Just because I have a nice smile and I'm just,
I'm saying that's how Strahan talks.
Yeah, that's him. I'm not doing that. I'm smiling because I thought we had a great show. I appreciate everybody in here. And again, another great victory. I'm about to go get some good food and watch the rest of these games that are on and call it a night.
I feel like going to catch some, like hunt. Now let's go hunt.
Are you okay? I mean, I love to hunt, but bro, it's not. First of all, it's not even.
You can't even read behind the lineup. It's a joke. We got to go hunt. I got to get the cigar. So.
Okay, yeah, you might be due for one because you're just talking crazy now. All right, guys, we're about to get up out of here. Appreciate everybody tuning into the Miller's Edge post-game show. We'll see you guys Thursday for another episode of the Miller's Edge Extra. Until then, later.
Roll Tide, roll.
You heard the man. Roll Tide.